Thanks, Joe. Notice that Miles Garrett was not on the participation report, which means he had no injury and he practiced fully.
Mhm.
Was there any consideration of giving him some time off? He just seems to have not shaken all of the after effects of the COVID thing. How would you describe his physical well-being at this point?
Oh no, I think he's fine. I mean, he was, he missed a few weeks, and I think he's just getting back into football condition. But he's fine.
Okay, and the second question concerns Mac Wilson. Is he having a better week of practice to get back on the field this week, or what's the situation there?
Yeah, no, he's fine. I mean, I know it's a decision. We talked about that Kevin made, but he's practiced well this week. He's part of the plans just in terms of playing this Sunday.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tony. Our next question goes to Scott Petrick. I think we may have lost Scott, so we'll go to Nate Ulrich.
Okay.
Hey, Coach. With Ronnie Harrison practicing yesterday, being designated to return from injured reserve, do you think he'll be available to you Sunday? And, what kind of, progress did you see out there on the field from him yesterday?
Yeah, he's back on the field practicing. Looks good. Really just giving them limited reps. I think it's something we're going to have to evaluate every day. I don't know if we'll have him this week, but he should play in the near future.
Thanks, Nate. Or go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
When you say you don't know if you'll have him this week, is it like unlikely or up in the air? How will you determine that?
Really, we go off of we meet as a staff and we talk about each player, with the training staff. But I think it's unlikely that he'll play this week, to be honest with you, just because he just got back on the practice field. So look for him more in the field maybe next week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nate. Looks like Scott's back with us. We'll go to him.
And sorry about that, Joe. I had a little internet issue.
All right.
Hey, what went into the decision for Mac Wilson to be inactive last week?
Yeah, I think that's really something in-house. It's probably a better question for you to ask Coach Stefanski. It was something that, he made the call on, the final decision. Mac's back this week, doing a good job. And again, he's part of the plans to play this week.
Does he need to show you anything this week to kind of solidify that spot?
No, just to continue to work hard and, make plays on the practice field and translate it to game day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Doug Maurice, you're up.
Hey, Joe, just a big picture question here that I'm sure you've answered a version of this before. Denzel Ward, just when you have him back and he's himself, just his presence on the field to have a corner like that, what does it do for a defense as a whole for you as a guy calling it when you have Denzel?
It gives you a lot of confidence. I feel like he's one of the better corners in the NFL. I feel he's capable of matching up and covering, any receiver. So when you have him in there and you're making calls and you want to play tight coverage, it just gives you that confidence that he can lock down whoever he's covering. So really gave me comfort last week just to have him back.
Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Doug. Dan Lobby has our next question.
Hey, Coach. I guess this is kind of about Ronnie, but also, you told us back in camp when you lost Grant that you had some kind of big plans for him to sort of play in the box, play some nickel, things like that. How important is it to have that safety that can kind of just do everything? You can just kind of line him up everywhere and kind of do whatever you want with him.
I think it's critical. To me, the NFL has always been about it's a league of matchups, and it changes week to week. And teams are spreading you out more. I think the tight ends are more dynamic. So when you have a guy that has the ability to go down, match up against a tight end, you have a guy that can go down in the box, you can blitz, you can fit the run. I think it allows you to do a lot of things defensively, and that's what Ronnie brought to us. Somebody like Grant saying he'll bring to us as well. So having those two guys and the plans for the future, man, is exciting.
I mean, do Is the safety position kind of evolving a little bit? It's no longer just kind of that guy that plays deep anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still want that rangy safety. Like you want a guy that can go sideline to sideline and make plays. But to have a guy to create the matchups, because that's what offenses are doing. They're spreading you out. The receivers, the tight ends are more athletic. So when you have a guy that can play in the post, play in the box, go match up on the tight end, it just gives you the ability to create different packages and move that player around to your advantage.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Mary Kay Cabot, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I know you're saying that Miles is fine right now, but obviously we've seen him kind of, work his way back from this thing. Have you seen it kind of get a little better each week? Does he look significantly better to you maybe this week than he did last week? And is the hope and the goal that, if you guys do whatever, I know you don't want to look ahead, but that he continues to get better and will be 100% soon?
Yeah, I think he has gotten in better football shape the last couple of weeks. I don't notice it as much in practice because we rotate guys. But in the game, when you get those long series, it gets into the fourth quarter. A lot of those guys look winded. But just based on our conversations, he's fine.
And do you guys? Would a pitch count be something that you would consider, or do you guys need, because these guys think they're invincible, do you have to maybe, intervene a little bit with him?
Yeah, and we do. Like we rotate, and we always want him out there, especially when we get in the fourth quarter. You want to be able to rush the passer, but that's part of our plan. Is Coach Kiffin does a great job just rotating guys in and out. Obviously, we like for him to be in there all the time, but we have to be smart just in terms of what we're exposing him to physically. Nice Christmas tree.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mary Kay. Marla Ridenour is next.
Yeah, Coach, Merry Christmas. After all the shootouts you've been in this year, was giving up 6 points, was that like a huge building block or a step in the right direction or whatever you want to call it? I just wondered what you saw overall out of your guys.
Yeah, it was good to play a game like that. The most important thing is always just winning the games defensively. Being prideful, you don't want to give up a lot of points, and we have this year at times. But it feels good after playing that game. Feels like we're moving in the right direction. But week to week, you never know what's going to happen.
And it sounds like Sheldon is going to be able to play. I mean, how important has he been? Those guys, he and Goodson made some big plays this past game.
Yeah. Sheldon Richardson?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's very important to our defense. He has flexibility along the defensive line. There's some things we do when we create some different fronts, and he allows us to do certain things because he can play multiple positions. But just the veteran leadership, the experience, like I said, he's just fun to be around. He keeps everything light, but he is definitely a major part of our defense, and I'm glad that he's able to play this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marla. We'll go to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Merry Christmas, Coach.
Same to you.
Marla just stole both of my questions, so I'll follow it up by saying, should Sheldon have made the Pro Bowl?
It's a vote. So I don't, I think he's a Pro Bowl player for us. I'll say that.
I got you.
How everybody else views him, that's always up to the vote and how the coaches see him.
It looked like he was pretty instrumental on that stop inside the 5. He kind of got his arm out there, then he got some help there. How big a play was that in the game, Joe?
That was a huge play, especially early in the game, getting off the field on downs, not giving up any points. I think that helped turn the momentum for us. But yeah, he was critical. He was sitting right in that A gap and did a nice job controlling his area.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tom. Tony Grossi is next.
Joe, we know you've had to play a lot of players over the course of this year, but as this season reaches a climax, what would you say is the identity of your defense this year? For a long time, it was the takeaways, but that's kind of evened out over time. So what are you most proud of about your unit?
Yeah, I'm still definitely proud of the takeaways because in this league, that's the most critical stat. The team that normally wins the turnover margin wins the game. So I still feel very prideful I feel like the guys have done a great job with that, and we work on it every week. But to be honest with you, I just like it because the guys fight. They show up every week, and we have our identity we go by, we talk about all the time. But when the guys show up on game day, they fight, and they fight for 60 minutes. And whenever you have a defense that does that, you're always going to give yourself a chance to win. And we proved that throughout the year.
Okay, and a follow-up to that is with Sendejo coming back, should we assume he'll be ready to go? And does he go back as your deep safety?
Yeah, if he comes, he's been back in practice, so everything looks fine if he's healthy. But he would go back to, starting in the free safety position. But just like you said earlier, we play so many guys this year, it's just part of it. I like it because now if something happens, you put a guy in, it's not, hey, he's never played. So we have a bunch of guys that have game experience. So we will work a little rotation back there as well.
Thank you, Tony. We'll take one more question. It goes to Scott Petrick.
Hey, Joe, I guess one of those guys would be Jacob Phillips as well. How have you seen him kind of develop through the year, and how did he do with that extra playing time last week?
Yeah, he did a great job. There's still some things. He's a see ball, get ball guy. But when the lights come on, man, he plays with his hair on fire, and that's what you like about him. He's physical, very competitive, and he's just going to keep getting better with every rep he gets. He missed some time earlier that kind of hurt him a little bit, but now that he's back in the fold, I just look forward to seeing how he can progress throughout the rest of the season.